Very good. So now we're heading into what we call our investigative part of today's lineup, and this is the case studies. And I quite like case studies because it's nothing like reality when it comes to insights and real learnings. So our first speaker today is a gentleman to my left named Steve Shepherd. He's the CEO of a Kiwi company called 100Rails, who's been around for a couple of years now. And so who is Steve Shepherd from 100Rails, you may ask? Well, I'll tell you. So Steve started work for Fonterra back in 1987, and his career has been in programming and business analysis now for over 25 years. Steve has been a successful entrepreneur and has managed contracting companies and data centers and all sorts of things with experience across a plethora of verticals: retail, healthcare, education, manufacturing, service sectors. You get the idea. So Steve today will talk to us about scaffolding the cloud. So I look forward to this because I have a feeling it doesn't have to do with construction, does it? Oh, excellent. Well, welcome to Steve Shepherd, and if everyone could just welcome him to the stage. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Over there? Great. Well, today I thought I would start by saying that I don't do this very often. We're a small company based up here in Queen Street, and we're a subsidiary partner of Citrix Online. And Citrix Online have a three-range suite of products. They've got GoToMeeting. They've also got ShareFile, which is a corporate Dropbox equivalent. With a twist, with ShareFile, you can have your servers in your own premises or in another data center, and then share it through ShareFile as a Dropbox type of product. And the final product that they just bought for $62 million US about 3 years ago is a product called Podio. And we are the Asia Pacific preferred partners for Podio, so we've got customers from Singapore to even some of the States. And we're just based here in New Zealand. Now today I'm going to do a live demonstration, so I hope Murphy doesn't rear his head today. And I'm also going to talk about some real live case studies. You'll get to look at one of the solutions that we've built for a scaffolding company. So it is actually a real construction company. Yeah. Just to soothe my nerves, I was talking to a mate of mine, and I said, how do I stop being nervous? And he said, just imagine everybody is naked in the audience, and your fears will melt away. So let's start with the first slide. So we're based here in Auckland, but my hometown is Whangarei, just up the road. And I got talking to a mate who runs a call centre, and she talked to a friend who wanted a system to do their new franchise rollout that he's doing. So we started building a system for them, and then he told another guy about Northland Scaffolding, who were looking for a solution. And they're a typical organisation. They currently use a lot of spreadsheets and they use a lot of paper. They've started to tip their toe into the cloud with Xero for their accounting systems. And they use a bit of Google Docs, a bit of Google email. They had looked at the Microsoft solutions as well. So they were starting to see what was available. But they had a lot of paperwork that they were using. Their guys, they run about 6 trucks for scaffolding. They're out in the workforce, filling paper out in the rain. The supervisors have to go out there a lot to see what's going on. And so we started to sit down with them and try and walk in their boots. So, I mean, you've heard the phrase walk in their shoes, to try and figure out the business workflow. So we were walking in their boots, literally. So we built them a system in about 4 weeks. And the the system that we built that on, the platform, the cloud platform that we built it on, is called Podio. And it's a agile product, it's a disruptive product, and it allows you to pivot very quickly. And I'm going to show you some of that in a minute. Agility is a key thing in business nowadays because business processes change a lot. The contracts that you get require different data. And so a lot of the traditional software development processes are taking quite a lead time in actually getting stuff built for your organisation. And we have a lot of document-centric systems in the world at the moment. Hence the spreadsheets and the paper forms. But Podio is different in that it's more of an app-centric solution. And we develop these apps very quickly. So the process that we went through, and this is some of the agile sides of the development process that we went through. We went and sat with them, we tracked how their jobs were done. We went on site with them, we sat in the trucks, we came back to the office, we sat in the office with the people to see what was on the whiteboards, what was coming through the various pieces of paper that they were developing. They had cameras that they were using to take photos of the site. So we gathered all that in as part of the scoping. And then we actually built stuff straight away within that first week. We built apps for them. We built apps to record compliance and hazards. So in scaffolding, health and safety is a huge part of making sure that you can hand over a safe scaffold to a business. And I know with WorkSafe, New Zealand just been formed last October. Legislation now is forcing us all into having to record this sort of information and be able to prove that we're not culpable for multiple $100,000 fines. So, and it can be of all shapes of sizes of businesses that this is applicable for. So to stop the paper war that can exist with some of these workplace safety systems and tracking, we actually built the apps to do that for them. Now, typically when you start developing systems, we started thinking, well, they want to do a timesheet. And so everybody in the team, every scaffolder will be doing a timesheet. But then, in reality, we found that the hands that were putting up the scaffold, these guys, how do I put this nicely? They're not CEOs, right? They're not managers, and we discovered that they're really more interested in the team leaders, are the ones that have the phones, and the team leaders are the guys that record who actually was on the site, what happened at the site, and that sort of thing. So we pivoted. We developed a timesheet app, we pivoted quickly, and we changed to a site visit app. Now, in traditional software, that's quite a big change in the way you have to develop code, because you've got all these developers and stuff writing lines of code and it's all going through testing frameworks, and people are trying to figure out whether it does or doesn't work. But with Podio, we were able to change within 2 days to that site visit type of approach. Now, he was actually using one other cloud system, Quotient. So Quotient is a cloud quoting solution rolled up into a SaaS model, and he was using it basically to send about 3 or 4 lines on the quote with a couple of the terms sheets and maybe a couple of photos. And he was really trying to track when someone opened the quote and when they accepted it. And it wasn't, once it was accepted, it wasn't going into any other system. So it was just a way of figuring out the money. So we built a quoting system that they constructed in Podio that sends the client a link and they can comment, and we did that in about 2 days too. So I can show you that in the live demo that I'm going to do in a second. And then the final part of the process was we had the quotes, we had the job tracking, we had all the costing, the compliance, and then it was through to the invoicing. Podio is not an accounting system, but it does integrate with other cloud solutions like Xero. So the whole process, all their data, basically was captured in one system. Podio acted as the glue in between, and we were using specialised services like Google Docs for some document storage, and Xero for the accounting part, and we're talking to them about payroll integration, possibly in the future. So the keys to this process of agile development are build it. So from the forms and the spreadsheets, so we were able to capture what are the key pieces of information that they're wanting in their cloud very quickly. And then we tried it. So the iterative approach that we take is we get it back to them within a week of actually starting the process. So you start getting feedback from the actual users, and we adjust it. When we pivot to different areas if they don't like the way that it's been done, and then we train them. And we just use simple screen recording software. We host the screen recordings on YouTube. We stick the YouTube videos into Podio, and they've then got the training on their phone out in the field, so you can store your health and safety stuff on the field, and it's also on the web browser. Once we started to record those basic things, we looked at where can it be improved. And one of the things that we worked out that their previous systems weren't doing is that the systems weren't telling them when they were dropping the balls. So in a moderate-sized company, these guys have got 60-odd jobs out in the field at any one time, so they're balancing quite a lot of scaffold equipment out there. And they need to know when the customer wants to get it off their site. They need to know when the customer wants it on the site, all those sort of alerting type things. And it's all, a lot of it in smaller businesses, like these guys got 30 staff. Even in bigger organisations, the ball can be dropped because it's in someone's head or it's not being recorded. So we looked at a lot of those areas where we could provide an alerting system. And I'll show you that in a minute too. We also looked at then what information we could bring from other apps into the app that we were in. So we were able to, on the job, we were able to say how many site visits were done, how many staff were used in total, how much cost on a costed basis were those staff costing, what was the travel cost, and then aggregate that all up and then compare that to the quoted price. So we could do a lot of that type of advanced, I guess you call it analytics, by then starting to look at summing information from different apps. We looked at workflows, and that's a bit about the alerting, but workflows to say so that when they created the quote and they say send the quote, it sent the link automatically in behind the scenes and the page was available for the client to look at. When the job finished, an automatic email was then sent to the client to say, your scaffold is now ready for handover. This is to certify that you can take it over. And automations is a similar. And then we looked at the integrations. Xero, everyone knows about Xero. MailChimp is a automated marketing system, email marketing system. I think it can send 5,000 emails for free per month for no cost. So we've also done integrations with cloud-based CV parsers, resume parsers. So we've done other HR recruiting systems where we get the CVs attached to the documents and we call a cloud service. The cloud service parses that resume and we stick it in. We haven't done HR for these guys yet. So that's a quick snapshot of what Podio looks like. There is a bar at the top called the app bar. You guys see it down there. This is the first app called the activity app, and you have what's called an activity stream of information. And that activity stream tells you what's happening in the business. So all these apps across the top here, so there's a jobs app, a site visits app, a compliance app, an accidents app, clients, training, and all the information that goes into these apps then tips into this activity stream. And this is using social networking inside your business. So your staff can actually use some of the professional development they're doing at home on Facebook to actually run your business systems. And Microsoft have got a product like this called Yammer, which they just bought for a huge amount of money before. But Citrix have got this in their Podio product, sort of native. So this allows you to quickly comment. You can comment here, you can like it, and you can create a task. So what it does is it starts extracting all your intellectual property out of your email inboxes that are littered across your Exchange servers and starts putting it associated with the information that actually gets your work done. This is also sort of a dashboardy thing as well. So you've got some charts of what types of jobs are going on. There's your sales funnel, and there's your, can't see that, jobs per month or something. So we can very quickly see where the business is at. The system also runs on their iPads or iPhones and also all the Android range of tablets. There's a Windows coming out, but the Windows phone's not as prevalent as these devices are. But so out in the field, they can get access to these apps, and I'll show you that in a live demo soon. People can take photos with the Android or iPhone, attach those as scaffolding photos. So what they do is they've got another little free app that they take a photo of the house. This is for the smaller jobs, and then they draw the scaffolding onto the actual photo. They then upload the photo to the job, and then the team leader back at the office can actually go through and draw additional scaffolding or make an idea of what's required. I mean, some of the larger scaffolding firms we're now starting to talk to, they have CAD and they have all their materials broken down. So what we're doing for them is they'll attach the spreadsheet and we'll just suck out of the spreadsheet all the materials. So most of the people that we've spoken to for the scaffolding in the field are using Android devices. Some use iPhones rather than tablets, because the guys are jumping in and out of trucks all the time. If they keep the phone on them with a rugged case around it, it keeps it protected. And with the tablet in a truck, if you stick it anywhere in the truck and then you take off, it's going to flop around and break and stuff. So we moved to a situation where they're having the device on them and partly responsible for it. So I talked before about the reaching out to clients and partners. So we've built links that generate forms that are online that they can print themselves. But at the bottom of this form, there's an accept button, and then that turns the status back on in Podio to say it's been accepted. We can also tell whenever they click on that link that someone's viewing the proposal. So if you want to be really creepy, You can monitor the notifications in Podio, and as soon as the notification comes in that your quote's been viewed, you ring the person up and say, yeah, I see you've been looking at our quote. Click the accept button down the bottom. So you can be as freaky as you like, but the powers of the cloud are amazing. One thing that is really important with any sort of cloud, and I mean, I guess based on what Keith was talking about first this morning, we're partway between the platform and the software as a service in terms of a solution. But one of the keys to any platform or system that you're doing is user engagement. If it could be the best thing under the sun, but if your users don't like it, it's not going to fly. So this is a comment stream that one of the guys, Ethan, out in the field, he said on this particular job it was a bit slippy. So it notified me because I was watching that, because I'm checking what they're doing using the system. And I then mentioned Chris, who's the owner of the scaffolding company. Have you seen this comment from Ethan? And Ethan then came back and said, this is just like Facebook, right? And Ethan is a nice guy, but he's just a worker. He's one of their team leaders, and he really liked it, right? So the engagement was high, and it's high in the office as well. So how do we do all this? Well, I'm not going to tell you everything, because that's our intellectual property. And that's what you pay us millions of dollars for. But basically, Podio has an app builder or app creator that it has online. And if you're a small organisation under sort of 10 or 20 staff, then you can build all the stuff you need. But it's going to take you time to learn the product and develop. As we talk, we mainly work with companies 30 staff and up, and we help them build all this because we're the experts. So, but we just drag and drop all these different types of data into the apps, and we create them very quickly. And so now I'm going to try and do a live demo so you can see it running. Alrighty, so you all see that? So that's the real view of the jobs in Podio, and now the low battery comes up. So all this is clickable. So if we go to the Jobs app, so over here you've got the data section. Down the left-hand side you've got different views of data. So we can see the active jobs for October, September, and it's all drillable, so you can click on it. If we click on a job, it comes up with the underlying job details, and you just, all these pieces of information, you've got location information, what type of job it is, we can attach maps and images, and then you've got your quote information and external links. So on the right hand side here you've got the social networking element of the product right beside the actual data. So everything in Podio is actually audited, and as stuff changes on the left hand side, so you can see here that there were different pieces of information that changed. I changed that information 5 days ago. So it combines messaging and also your auditing into one historical view of what's happening just with this particular job. And I can then comment down the bottom here in a similar manner to Facebook, but it's attached to the information that you're looking at. Now that information is also available on the iPhone. So if we go to Podio on here, so there's the job there, templates. I'll just click on there. And so the same job information is available on the phone. So if I want to go down here, there's the map. So if you click on the map, it starts running the Google map or the Apple map that you've got on your device, so you can get the instructions for your driver to get there. If I want to edit that information, I just hit the little pencil and change it to not interested. And if I go down here, so I can add an image here, so I'll take a photo and use that photo. So that's uploaded the photo. I click the tick mark. If we go into here, and refresh the page. So that doesn't matter whether I was standing beside that computer or 10,000 kilometres away in London. As soon as I've attached that photo and clicked the tick box in this app, it's now available in the cloud, on the web browser, back in the head office or wherever. And that starts to make you change the way you think about your workflows and business processes, because you don't need paper to be reporting stuff out in the field. We've got another organisation, Green Scene NZ, who they do arborist services for the councils, and they've got their guys out in the field with these devices. The previous process was they had timesheets that they would do on their little notebooks. So they'd sit in their thing and type their timesheets on their little notebooks. They would take photos with the digital cameras. When the job was finished, they would then, most of the time, get back to the office, download the spreadsheet, timesheet from their notebook onto the office as a spreadsheet, and then have to upload all the photos. So this was adding huge amounts of time to their process. With using this type of a solution, they're actually just able to go to the next job. And so there was a lot of savings in time. Any questions about any of what I've said so far? No questions so far? All right. I'll keep going. So if we wanted to change this, for example, at the end here we've got not interested as a status for this job. If I want to add a status, I bring up the app builder and say contact. Oops. So, I mean, most of you have got developed or been in a situation where you've got software development going on. To actually get a change made to the software can take weeks. We just did it in 15 seconds. So that status is now available to click, and it's all audited and tracked and stuff. And anybody who's following that particular job will get a notification to say that that job is now set to contact later. And if I go in here, So you can see on the app that it's actually changed as well. So you've now deployed a new solution to both the web and to all your smartphone devices anywhere. And so that status is actually available on the phone as well. Anyone who's been in software development will know the pains you have to go to sometimes to get that happening. If we can go back to the PowerPoint. So, how can we help you now? Has anyone got any questions about what we just talked about? We can do free audits for you, scoping. I don't want to go into sales pitch mode, but the idea of today's talk was to just show you what cloud solutions are being used to actually do and on the ground be used. It's not just Xero, it's not just MailChimp or some of those big US SaaS providers. We're doing it here in New Zealand, and it's for all types of industries. We've built solutions for enterprises as well, where they're doing interdepartmental request systems or HR recruitment systems, and it's a powerful tool that can be used to build and take away some of that spreadsheet and paper form nightmares that exist.
Hey, Jason here from Wireless Nation.
Yep, bring your microphone on.
Hi, it looks like a really good job tracking tool. Just wondering about CRM functionality, reporting, and that sort of thing. Can you elaborate on that?
Yep. So that the reporting is built into tiles of information. You also can do CRMs. I mean, that job tracking system is partly a CRM built with a job tracking system. So they take the lead from the lead stage through to billing stage in one app, basically. So we've combined a separate contact client system into one app. One of the things that we talked to the owner about was keeping it simple, stupid. He didn't want to have to train his staff to go to too many different places to actually get the work done. And a lot of typical CRMs, you've got to learn a new technology or new terminology for everything what you call things in your business. Whereas this solution is different. This solution molds to how and what you call things. Because it's so quick to adapt, over 700,000 clients on it already. And it's definitely, Citrix created Citrix Online as a separate entity from their main Citrix business because they saw that cloud was so important. This is not relevant for some really big enterprises who need to have their in-house. If you want your data in-house or your data in a very private cloud, then this is not probably one of those solutions that does that. But it definitely allows you to use it as glue between a lot of systems. Because of its API ability, we synchronize data to all sorts of different systems. So for example, when we set up a client in that job tracking system for the scaffolding company, we actually sync the contact details into Xero automatically. So they're not having to set up that client again in another accounting package or that sort of thing. So so that back end is definitely taken care of.
Yeah, Dave Shepherd here, New Zealand. No relation, I don't think. I've got two questions. How do you navigate the legal/compliance sign-off piece where in the paper world you would have had people signing off jobs from a safety point of view, and you've moved all that into a cloud solution? is the platform certified to a certain level, or did you have to go through with the lawyers how you built the application on the platform to cover the certification side, so that everyone's butt's covered if something goes wrong?
Yep. So there's two parts to that. Either the original data centres were based in Germany, so they developed very strict privacy concerns and high security levels with the package, with Podio. They're using 256-bit encryption for the data. Also, none of the data in the apps actually sits on the devices. So if I'm taking a photo like I did there for that job tracking, none of that data is actually left on the device, so you have to have an internet connection for Podio to work. It doesn't work in an offline situation. As far as getting signatures, there's two approaches that we've taken. A simple approach is to have a form that if it's signed off, they then take a photo of the form and attach the form to the job. That's one simple way of doing it. And of course the picture gets date and time stamps and attached and audited at the time that it's attached to the job. And the second way, and we haven't done this yet, is to use one of the cloud signature packages like Right Signature. There's a couple of others that are cloud-based that take signatures, and we can hook the APIs of Podio into that. So yeah, we do that sort of thing.
And second question was around the development sort of life cycle. So you made a change in sort of 15 seconds to what looks like your live system. Is there a standard, which is a great thing, but it's also a bit scary as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that you've got, that the platform has the ability to sort of promote through a traditional dev test qual live environment, or is it all the live environment you're playing?
No, that was the live environment. Yep. So in terms of permissions to be able to do that sort of thing, that's very strictly controlled. So there's different levels of ability to change the structure of the applications. And we always create sandboxes for developing concepts and playing with things, and then move that into the production environment. I talked to Chris about doing a demonstration live here with his system, and he's fine. He's actually the chairman of the New Zealand Scaffolding Association, so we're going to dominate the country with that package. But I mean, for us it's been good because we're able to pivot into very small niches very quickly and develop a lot of intellectual property. Whereas traditionally with a lot of software development, it's taken a year, 18 months to actually get a product to beta. And so we're changing or being disruptive to the whole market. So yeah, hope that answers the question. Right. Any other questions?
Oh, well, thank you so much for the fantastic overview.